Oh yeah. It's like talking to you. It's like, help me! It's like, oh God, help! So I developed this recipe inspired by an ideal pride brunch. My friends and I like to come together to eat and share a meal. I personally love a smash burger because the textures that you get as you press it into the griddle maximizes that kind of crispy, crunchy texture. And it only takes a minute to cook the burger on both sides. You have savory, you have a little bit of sweet happening. You also have that like really golden runny egg that's gonna marry all those flavors together. So this pickle is white onion and shallots. I really love a pickle because it captures acidity, which I think is really important to kind of cut through any type of fat. I like mixing my onions just because every onion has a different personality. A white onion's like that dependable friend, but they don't necessarily like always take the leading role in the ways that you think that they should. Shallots have a bit more of like a elegant perfuminess to them. You can use sherry vinegar, you can use red wine vinegar, you can make your own vinegars. That's not the show we're doing today though, so I'm just going to add this distilled white vinegar. I kind of eyeball everything when I'm cooking. The nice thing about this is like you can set it and forget it. I'm gonna put it to the side, it's gonna mellow out a bit. It's gonna start to become translucent, so when I check back in on it, it'll be like glassy, like you can kind of see through it. This recipe for me, like most of my recipes, is actually just a template for you to do kind of whatever you want. Here we have ground lamb. You can sub it out for what your favorite thing is. I love lamb because I think it pairs really well with the greens and the onions that we're using. And then we have these little sausage links. So I have a little bit of maple in it. I'm just gonna open the casings up. I'm going to add my toasted and ground fennel. I think fennel with pork and lamb is just like a really delicious classic thing. Same thing with the cumin, paprika, and then of course garlic. I'm not gonna grate it all the way. I'm actually gonna save the little nubs to do a little swipe of garlic on my buns. I gotta put my salt in too. Whenever I make a patty mix, just because not all ground meat is made equal, what I'll do is I'll just sear a little bit off and taste it to see if I've gotten to the flavor that I want. So I'll take a little bit and then I'll cook it off to see where we are with that. That's delicious. It's perfectly salted. I killed it. It's like I know how to cook or something. Oh my God. So now that we have our patty ground meat seasoned and ready to go, I'm gonna put my sheet tray directly onto my scale. They don't have to be perfect, but I want them to be as similar as possible because you wanna make sure that you're getting the same surface area and the same spread across each patty. One palm is just for holding, and my hand is pretty loose. If you wanna shake your hip to the side while you do it, just for added effect, you can. Now, just checking to make sure that the pilot light didn't go out. The pan is quite hot. I like to always back with a little bit of parchment just so that it doesn't stick to it. There is this really handy griddle press. Press it down. And you can see the oil is already kind of sputtering out and all over the counter. So we're gonna do it for 30 seconds, which has already kind of passed. So I'm just gonna season both sides. It's gonna start to curl, and then you really just wanna scrape underneath. And then I'm gonna flip it. Get that really nice dark brown color. Maybe I'll put the little griddle over it again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New. Okay, so then this is our first patty. My favorite smash tool is the press. It also looks really cool. It also doesn't, like, it keeps your hand away from the heat so you don't have to get all like burnt. It's so satisfying. It's like if you're stressed after a long day of work, just smash a burger. The pork, as it renders, is gonna actually just become your little reservoir of oil as you cook it. It also has all that flavor of the paprika, the cumin. You have your fennel actually infused in that fat. And so that'll be a great basis to then cook our eggs in. It's always nice to start with room temperature eggs so that you don't have to worry about bringing the temperature up. So this has been chilling, sitting out while I'm cooking. Also a trick is if you don't want to crack the yolks of your eggs, hit it on a flat surface instead of the rim of a bowl. And we're gonna cook them in our patty fat. I usually can do the one-handed, but maybe, let's see. Oh, yes! I'm a real chef, I can do one hand. Oh, I broke an egg though. That'll be mine, I'll eat that one. Crack a little bit of black pepper on each of these. Even the sad one gets black pepper. I don't want to overly salt anything, but I want to make sure that when that yolk breaks open that it does have a little bit of salt on it. I have my patties here, and so what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to add it to my patty. And so while the pan is still hot, I'm going to grab my buns. And you really don't want like a ton of color on this, you just want them to have structure. So whenever you hit this color moment, you know that you're good. So that's looking kind of cute. This is looking kind of cute. That one just burned my finger. She's going into timeout. So I have my little garlic nub. So I'll rub it into like all those kind of grooves and cracks and crevices, just to add a little bit more of that kind of like funky umami, if people still say that, umami flavor. So we have our patties, we have our eggs, we have our buns all ready to go. So first what I'm gonna do is I'm going to make my mayo with the help of Kewpie mayo, which is one of my favorite mayos, mostly because there's this really cute happy baby on the packaging. All I know is that it makes me feel really good when I use it and it tastes delicious. And then we're gonna use our sriracha. But if you have a favorite hot sauce, you can switch the sriracha out for something else. And then paprika, which you may have remembered we used to season our patties. Because I could be like professional and use like a whisk since it was so nicely placed here for me. Ooh, oh my God. That's very good. Put it on like literally anything. I'm just gonna add a little bit of the sauce to each. This will help make everything stick. When it comes to greens, I think arugula is more akin to breakfast, but if you're like moving more into lunch vibes, you can throw in romaine or iceberg. I actually really like to add herbs to my sandwiches too, just so I don't feel like I have like this gut busting thing that I can't digest because I have no fiber in my life. I'm just gonna take a handful of my pickled onion mix. I'm just gonna add some of the salad. I'm so excited. Oh my God. Wow. First of all, my face. Please excuse me. She's juicy, she's spicy. The patty is so thin. And the spices in the actual ground beef mix, sorry I'm talking my mouth full, but I hope you understand what I'm saying. There's like, out of this world. So I'm getting that paprika, I'm getting that fennel, I'm getting that garlic. It's all kind of coming together in this really wonderful, beautiful way. Holy shit, that's so good.